My dad cheated on my mom, and I have to live with it for now. Advice. Hi, this is my first post on here, so I'm not familiar with this, but I came here because I really want to get good advice and opinions from others. I found out a few years ago when I was on my dad's phone. He was aware I was on his phone, that his Instagram was full of half-naked girls. At the time, I was quite shocked, but I guess I didn't want to think too much into it. However, I guess I never truly got over this experience. I later got into my first relationship and got cheated on. I was deeply traumatized, but we broke up, and then in the following year, got into another relationship that I thought would be good and ended up getting cheated on again. We broke up too. Now, as I thought my life was getting better, I guess the old memory of what I saw on my dad's phone crept up again. Out of curiosity, and I know what I did is extremely wrong as everyone has right to privacy, I checked my dad's phone, this time without my dad knowing, and I found out that he was cheating on my mom. At first, I thought he was just watching a bunch of porn and that he was addicted, which really hurt me too. But then I realized it was worse. Oh, how I wish it was just the porn. He was actively searching for escorts to meet up with whenever we would go back to our home country on holiday. On my mom's birthday last year, I don't know what provoked me, but I suddenly got this urge to hint to my dad that I was aware of the porn accounts he was following on Twitter, publicly with his name, and the half-naked girls on his Instagram. Not the cheating, though, because I was terrified to bring that up. I hoped a little that if he realized I was upset about the porn and soft porn, he would try to refrain from it and from cheating too, not that it makes the situation better as he had already done it. I told him that I wish he would stop engaging with it so publicly and that it could be considered cheating to some extent. Why, but I thought, for some crazy reason, he would sincerely just apologize and tell me he would stop. Instead, I was met with great horror. He denied the whole thing and claimed that he barely used Twitter or Instagram, that someone must have hacked them or something, which is crazy and just a shit excuse as I had seen his Twitter following go up on his account every now and then with similar accounts, and everything else I witnessed with him just added up. He got really defensive and also angry and told me he wouldn't be coming home for Mom's birthday dinner and that this made him so mad. This is when I started panicking because I realized I wouldn't know what to say to my mom, and I profusely apologized, saying I misunderstood, which I didn't actually mean, and that I would miss dinner instead so that he could come. After some time, thankfully his anger died and agreed to come to dinner and that he shouldn't have gotten that mad at me. However, he didn't confess anything about the situation and was going with his story that someone must have hacked him. He ended up deactivating that Twitter account. I let it go because I was really terrified of his reaction, as I had really hoped he would be a mature parent. Now, only me, my brother, and my cousin know about this. We have talked extensively on the topic and have decided for now to not tell them we know about this due to their health not being great and our financial situation. We believe for now that the negatives greatly outweigh the positives. I was not happy with this at first, with an urge to tell my mom and just root for their divorce. However, I realized I was being unrealistically optimistic. I also realized that I am not any help to any of them right now as I am not a fully grown adult with money. I also realized that there is a harsh reality. My dad would deny the whole thing, likely get extremely angry and leave the house for days. I also know my mom wouldn't take it well, and they would fight like crazy, and my mom's health, she is diabetic, would likely worsen. And the worst scenario for me, she may even blame me for telling her about this. I know this seems quite extreme, but I know my parents best, and they are definitely not the ideal parents I hoped they would be, with them dealing with situation as maturely and responsibly as possible. Anyways, this was all mainly to give context for my actual concern. So far, I am studying to get into my dream uni course and I live with my parents. My brother lives overseas. I am dependent on them and I want to continue living with them, mainly because I am greatly attached to my dog and as he is getting old, want to stay with him for his last years with us. Additionally, I now have an urgency to protect my mom from my dad and to make sure my mom is okay in every way. These two are the main things that stop me from going interstate, which I do have an opportunity to if I get into the course interstate. However, the problem is, I am getting more and more irritated every day and my hatred for my dad is growing, not just because of the cheating, even though this is definitely the main reason, but also because he is quite lazy and is addicted to his phone. Despite everything going on, I wish to spend quality time with my parents, and it irks me so much that my dad spends most of his time on his devices rather than spend it with his family. I compare our family a lot with other healthier families that my friends have and get really sad about this. Because of this, I get more fed up with my dad and it shows, as my mom picks up on it and gets angry at me for not respecting him more, which then in turn upsets me because she doesn't know the true reason I am upset. I think considering that we have decided not to bring this up to my parents yet, I hope that my dad will change in other ways, such as being a better dad who is more present and actively spends his time with his family. I know I have said a lot of shit, but I just want to make it clear that despite these things, I do truly love both my mom and my dad, and I think this is the reason I am having such a hard time accepting my reality. Because all the important men in life have turned out to be unfaithful, I know I will have a hard time forming healthy relationships in the future. As this is a really difficult truth for me to swallow, I am seeing a psychologist, with my own money as it is a secret from my parents, hoping to heal from this and be able to form healthy relationships with men as unfortunately, I do want to get married one day. Any advice on how I can cope with living with them? Or maybe on how I should change my approach with them? I would be happy listening to similar experiences too. Thank you for reading.